Hey everyone, Fabian, Empire Build Academy, and today I just wanted to have a quick glance at all the items that we can collect on Evony and which items are the most valuable. So I'm talking about all the items you can get from events and also what we can redeem for different things. So let's go straight over to the game and have a look at what I'm talking about. So when we go into the items, and we can just go and have a look at some of mine now. And we scroll down to all these ones down here, which tend to be some of the most important. This is the common side of things that I'm looking at. But the kind of items I'm talking about are things like the treasure chest. The treasure chest is a classic one. We don't always think of it, but again, when we're collecting all these different fragments and we are then going into the civilization treasure where you use these fragments to get this. Just as an example on this one here, let's go to one where it's got the range, and it's this one here. So you can see I've got this to level 5, and when you got this to level 5 and you own to activate, you can see that the enemy range troop attack is 50%. So you can see just why this is a crucial piece and also crucial item with the treasure box, collecting that. So let's have a look at some of these. The best place to look at some of the most valuable items is without a doubt going to the expensive packs here, and when you go into this you can see all these different items there. So in level 5 optional chest you can see the different things there. Ruby necklace, this one is for your champions and you can use this to again get some more buffs. Now the art treasure scroll chest, this is one that is skipped over quite a lot, the art treasure scroll chest, but again if we just go and have a look at where these are used, and we go into art treasure, and you can see these are the different buffs for those art treasure scroll chests. So this is where you would use those different fragments. It's different from the ones where you're just selling the pictures. That's not what we're looking at here. It's the art treasure scroll chest and the different scrolls. Again, if we go into this one, comes with different buffs. Again, all of these different ones, and you can see down here, it's this here that I'm talking about. It's not these ones here. These ones are always going to have plenty of, but these ones here take a long time to collect. And you can see that I've got this to level 4, but to get it to level 5 I need 880 of that next piece, and I've been collecting these ones for, it feels like forever to be honest. But again, you can see here level 4 attributes, in city range, mounted and siege attack 40%. So I do think the art treasure scroll chest is one of those that you certainly want to think about collecting if there is absolutely nothing else. Of course there are going to be things that you feel that are better than this, but it's definitely one of those that if you've got nothing else to collect, then you would definitely put this in there as something to grab. So let's go back to the pack and let's go back to the optional chest. So that was for the art scroll chest. The junior blazon chest, I've done a junior blazon video recently and we can see just how important this is. Probably one of the hardest items to grab on the game. It feels like you are collecting forever and they are used so quickly when using the blazon chest. And the blazon chest, if you're not sure what that is an item where we can gain some additional buffs on our troops. So you can see we've got the option here to go into the blazon. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but again you can get all these additional buffs in here when collecting those, and they are so difficult to get to the right potential buff that you're looking for your keep. It's definitely something you want to keep grabbing as and when you can. Let's go back into the optional chest. The excellent dragon coin, that's quite self-explanatory, but it's again one of those where you can use this to feed your dragon and get that level up on that dragon, which is only going to improve the buffs that come with this. Now this next one, I've got to be honest, I've never seen this. Tactical compendium, and I can only imagine it's something that's new. A weighty volume recording the lifelong labours and warfare philosophies of historic generals, an essential item for studying tactics at the military academy. So it's for the advanced side of military. I'm assuming it's something that is going to be high level. It's not something I've noticed personally, so I can't comment too much on that. And if you do know what that item is for and how that works, then please do let me know. Well, I will just go and have a quick glance in the military academy and see if it's something maybe further down here in terms of where we got it. I can't see anything in there. Could be, like I say though, one of those that could be in the advanced stuff. So let's go into charge formation. Let's scroll all the way to the bottom. It's nothing in there, so maybe it's this new one here, sweep formation maybe. So again, tactic scrolling here, not seeing anything in relation to that. So that must be something I've just completely missed. I don't actually know where that is, and if this is something you can advise, then please do let me know where and how we use that. Going back into to the pack, let's go back into the optional chest. Like I say, this tends to be where most of the stuff that we're talking about is. Runestone chest. This is another one where we use this for the specialities on the generals, and again it is one of those that inside the runestone chest, the last one, this one here, which you can see is 10%, it is very, very difficult to collect that particular runestone. So although you'll end up with plenty of the top three, that fourth one there is one of those that you will not get very often. So again, if you do want to improve that buff on the specialities of a general, let's go and have a look at one of mine for argument's sake, and let's go and have a look at a sub general because I'm working on these as we speak. And let me go to one that's got all four. So there you go, you can see the fourth one along this one here. This is the one where that rare one is used, and you can see the kind of buffs that I'm getting for having that all the way maxed. Enemy range troop and siege machine attack 20%, enemy range troop and siege machine HP 10%. So that's another one where I do tend to collect this quite a bit as and when I can. Okay, on to the next one, which is the refining stone. Now, of course, refining stone is one of those where you will find you run out of this quickly, but it's one of those that I don't necessarily put at the top of my list. I feel that there's plenty of areas to get refined stones from, whereas things like runestone chests and how difficult it is to get that fourth one, I just find is more important, although I still don't rule it out. If there's an event going on and I can get refined stones over anything else, or it's the only thing available, then of course I'm going to go after it. I'm going to go and try and work and grind to get that. But when it comes to choosing it in a pack over other things, I do think there are things that are better off. Same with the research stone as well. That's another one where, yes, of course, you need it for the research academy, and especially if you're going to the higher levels, but it's again one of those that seems to pop up in various places and isn't necessarily as crucial as some of the other stuff. Tactic scroll, that's a little bit different. That one is the one you use for your military academy, which is quite difficult to get. But if I go and have a look at my military research and then I went to go and do one such as this, you can see I've got 57,000, so it's certainly not going to be at the top of my list to do. Incidentally, I'm doing quite a bit of that research today because it is city development, so I will be going into that today. So let's continue going down, and again in the optional chest, we're nearly at the end of these, I think. So source of life crystal, that is one that you obviously use for the source of life in server versus server, so it can be quite crucial, and it is something that can certainly run out very, very quickly. Dragon and Achaemenid scroll chests, I don't go and collect them. I don't think they're very difficult to get. Dust of wisdom, this is again something that is new. This is for the wisdom dome that provides 20 experience when upgrading goddess attendants. I haven't really noticed it in terms of collecting from events, but maybe that's something that's going to happen. And then we've got the badge, which again is one of those that, again, I wouldn't put it at the top of my list. I feel that it does come out quite often in various other places. And then we have the dragon crystal. So that was pretty much it in terms of the ones that come in the pack, although you can obviously continue going down. You get dragon gemstones, which I don't really see pop up anywhere, so that would be something I'd go after. Same with this one as well, and the military tactics, I would go after them if they were available. Same with Merrick Jade, which can be used for the position level in the Senate. These ones actually tend to be quite difficult to get. Same with the Glory Golden Twig, that's another one that is difficult to get, so if it's available, I'll have to weigh up whether it's going to be something useful to me now, because we've got to play the game in the now, not what's going to happen further down the line. So I'd potentially, with the golden twig, base it on where you are, because at the end of the day you might not even unlock the Senate to be able to use this. So again, that's something else you've got to do. We're all going to be in a different position as to where we use these different things. Forge Master Certificate, this is something that's actually very difficult to get hold of. If we go into my equipment and we go into equipment upgrade and we're going to have a look at the upgrades that you can do, so you can see we can get the Parthian, but now we can increase this to Apollo and the Asura bow. But again, in order to be able to do that, you need these Forge Master certificates, which really do get eaten up very, very quickly and are very difficult to come by. I know you can get them from the Vikings and other places as well, but like I say, that's 339 I've got there and I hardly spend it. So you can see it's a long time to be gathering them. So that is something else that I would definitely be going after if it was available and it made the most sense for me. So then we have the blood crystals and the meteoric stone. Meteoric stone, I've got quite a few of them. We use this for the civilization equipment, but I've got to be honest with the civilization equipment. If we go to one that I've got, which is here, to use this is to amplify. That's where we use these. But in order to amplify, you are also going to need fragments of the actual civilization equipment, and that's actually far more difficult to get hold of than these. So you can see I've got 2,212 of these, and although I would need a lot to take it to the next level, it's going to take me forever to get these. So it wouldn't be necessarily at the top of my list of what I go after in reference to that. Going back down to the bottom, so that was that. The blood crystal, I would collect them. They would be useful if available. Art fragment chest, I wouldn't necessarily go after that. That was the one where we've seen the pictures that I showed you earlier for the scrolls that we get. The artwork fragment chest tends to come along very, very easily and is something we get quite regular. Blood of Ares, definitely collect that. Treasure box, this is one that I think is underrated, to be perfectly honest, and is one of those that, again, can take forever to get. Now, again, if I just go and show you in my treasure box where we've got this, so this is in the civilization treasure that we're having a look at, and I showed you earlier with the Tutankhamun and how impressive this is, and getting all the different fragments so that you can get all these buffs, and they come via that treasure chest. I do think they're very important, and it is something that is at the top of my priority list when going after these. We also have the Dragon Source fragment. We noticed that on the dragons earlier, the Dragon Source fragment and the badges are used together to be able to increase the talent. So we've got them here and here. So you can see that's where they would be needed. But you can also see that I've got quite a few of both, although I haven't spent for a while, so this is an area that I need to go in and have a look and see what I can update and bring it up a level or two on the debuffing of the ranged, if that is potentially available, although I'm not sure it is. Let's have a look while we're here. Let's go back into that again. And let's go into the talent. So we've got the Siege Machine Attack, Siege Machine Defense. We've got In-City, Siege and Ground. And then we've got In-City Troop HP. So the HP one is definitely an area I would consider doing. And then for these, they are not going to be necessarily a priority. And the other ones I just don't have unlocked. So yeah, I'll potentially be using that on the Guardian Wings for the In-City Troop HP. But that is where you would use those fragments and those badges. Now, we're coming to the end because literally this is where we're at. But what I want to do before that is just jump into my items and have a look at some of these rare items as we go down here. If you do notice something that I haven't mentioned, then please do let me know in the comments, because it's quite easy with how many different items are available. There is definitely going to be some things that are missed by me, but also as well, do let me know which ones are most crucial to you, because me being a keep 39 basically doing trap defending is going to be very different to what someone else needs who is, say, a K42, K43, and they're concentrating on attacking. Spiritual Beast Scale, these are something that also are quite rare, but they're not normally an option you can grab. They are something that they are just given based on events. Continuing down the boxes, we won't talk about them. I want to just see the things that are used. These are the Covenant Stones. Always get lots of the Covenant Stones. I don't need them. I never collect them. Continuing down, we've got the eggs, which you get from gathering. We also have the gear package stuff as well. I don't necessarily go after this, to be honest, because it takes so long for them to upgrade. The buffs that you get from that are quite minimal that I don't personally go after them. You can see there, a treasure box, I've only got one, and that's because I've already used it. As I mentioned before, the material optional chest, we do go into that, we do collect that, and obviously you may be the same. I always use the dragon scale from that because that's one of the rarer and most common used pieces of materials on weapons. Again, this is what I was talking about with the art treasure scroll chest. This is the one that is crucial in terms of getting those buffs that I showed you earlier. So those are far more crucial than the actual fragment chest. So we've got the art treasure scroll chest. That's the one you want to collect. The artwork fragment chest, not necessarily so important. You can see we've got quite a few of the 999s there because of how easy they are to collect. Stamina, I'd always collect stamina wherever it is available. So that is another one that I would do there. Continue down. Gold is an absolute killer for me, and I'm always running out of gold because of the military academy research. So wherever I can get gold, I'm there, I'm getting it. And then we walk down into all the different generals, obviously fragment chests wherever they are available. There's one going on now with the wishful event, so I'm making sure every single day when I go into there that I'm collecting that. And just to jump into that and show you what I'm talking about, the wishful windmill event, once I collect everything today, I make sure that that I've always got 100, because if you haven't got 100, you don't get the fragment chest. And within that fragment chest is exactly what it says. It's a premium general fragment. And as you can appreciate with this event normally going on for around 30 days, that is a full general that you would get. So if you only got 80 of these points up here, do not collect. You must make sure that you are doing the 100 daily to get that treasure chest with that fragment in. So that's a little bit in reference to all the different materials and what I get. I will put this on the website, and I'll also put a chart on there to what I personally use as my favorites, so that you can match that up and decide where you need to go on yours. Again, do get involved in the comments and let me know if there's anything I've missed, or if you actually don't agree with any of the stuff I've said. Is there something that you feel is far more important than where I've put it, and vice versa? So do let me know in the comments. That is the end of this particular video. I will see you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching.